Hello viewers and welcome to a brand new episode of Anzenmezzeron Hell Games, where I will showcase actual plays of Magna Gothica Maleghast. In this episode, CARCASS vs Igorri, with Devious as CARCASS and Strigoi Vomit Lover as Igorri, obviously, duh. Once again, this matchup will be a simple 1v1 duel set in Tabletop Simulator on an old map by Vaki Ryan. I did mention that I'm going to reuse this beautiful looking map after all, high ground here, adverse terrain here, and an open area aimed to focus both sides into it. Anyway, let's talk about the black masses. On Devious side, the CARCASS has 4 gun wights, 2 barrel forms, 1 ammo goblin, and the operator himself. That's right, no enforcer. This black mass is going all in on offense, with the operator having bone wall for more range and cover, SG-88 shotgun for close range blasting since Igorri likes melee, and frag bullet just for more damage. What about unit upgrade, you ask? That's simple. This matchup is on spite level, because I fucked up. Somehow taking a week break has made me completely forgot how Maleghast work, and that spite level is not loathing. I guess my brain is just filled with soups at the moment. Anyway, onto the Igorri. Strigoi Vomit Lover gives her black mass 4 stitches, 1 chop dock, 1 homunculus, and of course, 1 Strigoi, and the Chirurgian herself, just a basic homunculus super mutating build with chop dock, stitches, and Strigoi generating as much corpses and tokens for the homunculus as possible, except this is a spite level match, so things are gonna be a bit different. To explain, Maleghast currently is kinda more balanced when played at loathing or higher level, but at spite level, Igorri is just mid, and CARCASS is, well, they are a bit tough. I even specifically asked for Igorri player to showcase Igorri well in this episode, and I fucked that up anyway. With that done, let's roll for initiative. And Devious actually got it, but he gave the initiative to Strigoi Vomit Lover, so she gets to place her unit first, though interestingly, they both decided to place unit one by one in turn, unlike what the rule said, but this honestly is kinda more interesting and interactive in a back and forth way. With their units all on the field, round 1 begins, and the Igorri starts their turn by immediately having the Strigoi vomiting corpses around the homunculus and then just not moving. A barrel form then climbs up a platform and turns into a gun, gaining strength in the process. The chop dock, which is hidden behind the homunculus here, moves forward, drops a corpse out of its pocket, and then marry the stitch with the homunculus, giving it all the buffs. The other barrel form moves up, and actually uses Death Mark, which applies 3 goddamn vulnerable tokens to the homunculus due to a lucky roll, forcing it to sacrifice a vitality and mutation token to cancel the vulnerable, and still gets 1 anyway. The homunculus then rockets off its starting spot and heads towards the CARCASS group. Rather than using sculpt flesh as anyone playing against Igorri would have expected, the homunculus uses flesh whip instead, targeting the ammo goblin, and with the sheer amount of mutation tokens it has plus a single strength token, dealt a staggering 8 damage in a single blow. This cut the ammo goblin and a nearby barrel form health in half, and turned 2 gun wights into salsa. Unfortunately, the operator is also right there, and he immediately moves up and shotgun blasts the homunculus back, dealing 3 total damage due to the vulnerable token, and then gives the homunculus more vulnerable tokens by spending souls on frag bullets. The Chirurgian then starts her turn, gains a mutation token from trait, and then moves up to shoot the ammo goblin with the mutagen injector, which is again, one of the best act abilities for the Chirurgian, because ammo goblin is extremely useful for CARCASS and you want that thing dead fast, and then the attack grazes, leaving it on 1 health. The remaining gun wights then move towards the center and shoot down the homunculus with pistols like they are Resident Evil protagonists due to the vulnerable tokens, which reduces the amount of possible damage done by the Igorri by quite a lot. However, the result of this match isn't set yet, and 2 stitches then move towards the CARCASS and rapidly mutated on the spot thanks to the corpses. The ammo goblin then finally gets to move and just regurgitated ammo at the operator, giving him 2 strength too. The last stitch then does the same as its buddies did. Round 1 ended, and round 2 began with both sides gaining more souls. As Igorri finished previous turn last, CARCASS gets to move first and the 2 gun wights immediately shoot up a stitch, which pops into 2 corpses. The Strigoi then moves up a nearby platform and uses Sin Eater on the ammo goblin before it can do any support. The attack sadly only grazes, but this still kills the goblin. The barrel form at the top then headshot a stitch. It's not even necessary, this is just a disrespect kill at this point, rapidly lacking options for damage. The chop dock moves closer to a big pile of corpses and injects mutagen to both the Strigoi and the Chirurgian, as well as giving them a ton of strength tokens in the process. The operator, trying to go for a shorter match, aims his shotgun at the Chirurgian, but the Chopdock blocks the buckshots and turns into a pink mist. Before the last stitch moves, the Chirurgian spent 1 soul on wild mutation and ate a corpse to give it strength. Then it moves down the platform and just smacks a gun white to death. The other barrel form then just shoots at the Strigoi, getting another headshot in the process, which inflicts a vulnerable token on it. Then the Chirurgian gets another mutation token, which she turns into a vitality token, moves back to get up a platform, and tries to shoot the mutagen injector at the operator, but completely whiffed the shot due to bone wall, as that provides operator cover by treating allies as one, only grazing for 2 damage due to strength and toxin damage. Round 2 ended, and round 3 began with both sides gaining more souls. CARCASS once again gets to go first, and the last gun white immediately shoots down the Strigoi due to vulnerable token. The Igorri now has 6 souls, which means Strigoi Vomit Lover can activate final form if she wants, a very powerful soul ability that makes the Chirurgian temporarily way more powerful, but this soul ability is extremely risky to use. You basically have to finish the fight in 2 rounds or you just die. Anyway, the stitch moves again, but before doing so, another soul spent on wild mutation came from the Chirurgian, gives its strength token, and it smacks the wounded barrel form to death. The operator then moves closer to the other barrel form to keep formation bonus up, and shotguns the Chirurgian off the platform, who absorbs most of the damage with vitality and mutation. The Chirurgian starts her turn, gets another mutation token for free, and then moves up the platform to shoot at the barrel form with bonus dice from elevated platform, and still miss anyway, dealing only 2 damage due to strength. This might have sealed the fate of this match. The barrel form then death marks the Chirurgian, and completely lucks out with a 6. This removes any vitality token the Chirurgian has, of which there's 1, and then gives her 3 goddamn vulnerable tokens. This is to say the very least, not good. Round 3 ended, and round 4 began with both sides gaining more souls, and finally, Igorri gets to go first, with Stitch getting another strength token from the Chirurgian using wild mutation, letting it whack another barrel form to death. This Stitch is really racking up its kills. And then the operator moves down to get formation bonus with the gun white, his last ally, and shotgun blasts the Chirurgian for a 5 goddamn damage due to all the strength and vulnerable tokens. The Chirurgian really need to get to a good spot, converts 1 mutation token to speed, gains another mutation token, and just runs, but couldn't make it up the platform, and shoots the gun white into mutated pieces. Round 4 ended, and round 5 began with both sides gaining more souls. CARCASS gets to go first this time, and the operator immediately aims his shotgun at the Stitch. Had the operator not gained a strength token from Hot Clip, the Stitch would have survived with a single health, which would be the key to winning the match for the Igorri. Had the operator miss, the result would be the same. Unfortunately, the operator has strength, and didn't miss. The last Stitch died on the spot, and then the operator uses bullet time, and this is probably the only scenario where bullet time is actually useful, because the Chirurgian has no other way of damaging the operator effectively. And now, both sides have an extremely slim chance of winning the match, if at all. The operator just spent their turn for round 5, and he has only 1 shot left for round 6, and he has to somehow deal 4 damage in one go. And while the Chirurgian has plenty of corpse tokens to use and 2 rounds of attacks left, she has to roll perfectly for mutagen injector to deal at least 6 damage, and at the same time avoid getting too close with the operator, as the injector doesn't work when the target is too close. And thus, both sides yielded, resulting in the first draw in Anzenmezzeron Hell Games. Thus, the round ended. I think a lot of Igorri player would have struggled trying to even survive after their homunculus or liacons have collapsed, so it's quite amazing that this match could even be dragged out to a draw at all. Turns out, all you really need for homunculus to maul a group of tightly packed enemy is a Chopdock and a Stitch. Once it destroys 2 units worth of, well, units, the homunculus more than pays off for itself. And other than marriage, inject mutagen via Chopdock is also very good when you want to deal more damage, which is basically all the time. The more corpses you have, the better the result. Wild mutation also carried the game for Strigoi Vomit Lover when she's down to only a Stitch and the Chirurgian. It basically lets an Igorri Black Mass to throw tokens at basically any unit for more power almost immediately, and again, more corpse, better result. Though, if I have one suggestion, ancillary limbs might work better for trait instead of accelerate evolution, as mutagen injector is a ranged weapon, so it would be nice to have something to overcome cover or just make your shots more accurate on the go. On the CARCASS side, I'm pretty sure you guys already know how a CARCASS group with enforcers works already, so it's interesting to see one without enforcers at all, and instead the 2 barrel forms are rather extremely good at their job. Even putting aside the fact that the barrel forms have rolled very well in this episode, Deathmark is honestly kinda crazy when you want something dead very fast, but this only really work against unit with more health than 2, and you also want to deal many instances of damage like with the shotgun, or gun whites, instead of big damage, but big enough damage with strength will still works. Overall, the barrel forms are pretty goddamn painful. I would put them right behind Banshee as top hunter. Anyway, that's all I can talk about on this matchup. I hope it gives you a better perspective on Igorri. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.